this illegal immigration. I know we're going off topic here a little bit, but it still comes into play with everything because of all the people that's getting put in prison for speaking up about it, which is absolutely ludicrous. They've actually, I've done a video the other day. They've actually set up an elite police task force unit.
I've seen it. Was it in the Guardian?
If you put a post on talking about these illegal immigrants, you're going to go to prison. Why not set an elite task force unit up to monitor these immigrants who are coming in, who nobody knows the background? They haven't got no criminal background check. And it speaks for itself what's actually happening on the street. It's happening in my hometown back in England. So, and I've seen some videos, seen Billy Moore doing a video up in Glasgow and that, and it just looked horrendous in the city centre.
Well, it is horrendous, Ricky. So I've lived in Glasgow more or less my whole life, and when I'm walking up the city centre, it looks like fucking Beirut, Baghdad, take your pick, Mogadishu. And I'm seeing multiple Facebook posts, social media posts, right? Give you a quick example. This lassie in an eastern Scottish city posted her Ring doorbell footage. 3 non-Indigenous males, clearly Pakistani, Bangladeshi or somewhere like that. They went to the door. There was 3 of them standing at a door, and one of them says to the other one, "Just be gentle, be gentle." And what were they? Everybody's comment. You need to phone the cops. You need to phone the cops. I says, listen, how did they know you didn't have a big fucking giant male, like a big boyfriend, no built like a big shit house, baseball bat behind the door, a Rottweiler? I said, they followed you home, or they've seen you somewhere and followed you. I would bet my life on it. There was, in fact, 5 minutes from where I live in an area, there was a Pakistani male caught filming children in his car by a woman who lived in the area. And but this has happened all over the place. This guy's been caught like 3 times. He's been exposed on child grooming pages, predators, all that stuff. And the police are telling the citizens that no crime has been committed, right? People feel like I'm not the type of guy who feels I can call myself a victim and say I need to phone the police, right? I'll just fucking I'll try and sort it out another way, right? And I don't always mean violence, right? But what I mean is there is genuine people out there, like citizens, never committed a crime in their life, who have genuine concern about them and their children and their children's future, and they're being gaslighted into being called bigoted and racist and waving a Union Jack. You're a racist, you're far right. How are you far right for waving your own country's flag? It's like double think. Do you know what I mean? So if you wave a Pakistani flag, are you far right? By definition, by the British government's definition, you're far right. If you wave an India flag, you're far right. You're a nationalist. If you support your country in the eyes of the British government, you're far right. People are sick of it. And the good thing is now that, to be honest, I was kind of a bit reticent to speak up about these issues, and I didn't want it anywhere near my channel or whatever. Like, if you'd have brought this up to me when I first came on your channel, I'd have been like, shit, how do I dodge this question? But see now, I'm fucking sick to the back teeth of my own citizens being scared, right? And this is the thing I know, right? People see in Ireland, Monty Irish, they're doing, they're standing up, right? They've got really good social cohesion, right? And I seen this guy who was basically a loyalist going up to a Republican march, and they set their differences aside, because what they're doing now is they're fighting for their citizens. They're not fighting for a flag. They're not fighting for a flag. They're not fighting for the cause and all that shit. They're fighting for the future of their children and their kids. And one thing that I do study pretty deeply is Islamic fundamentalism. And I'm telling you now that this is here. There we had four Iranians, right, posing as illegal immigrants. And who kicked their door in? The SAS. You try to tell me that they were here just because they wanted to fly a flag and all this crap, mate. If the SAS are kicking your door in, mate, that's as high as it gets. So I bet you any money, right? I would bet you any money there is terror groups out there who have operators who are masquerading as refugees to get into this country and settle. And then once they've settled in and all this kind of shit, they'll be launching attacks further down the road. And I guarantee you also that amongst these boats, there will be people who have taken human life in their own countries, who have committed unspeakable crimes in their own countries, and now they're walking amongst our citizens. And I'm not picking, I would never go, he's Somali, I'm going to bat him, mate. I love talking to, but there's Nigerian people that live in my building, I talk to them all the time. There's like a Chinese lass in my class. I love talking to foreign people about what it's like in their country. I'm no far right. If you want to come to if you go to anybody's country, you abide by their rules and their laws. You're not there to be oppressed. Do you get what I mean? And this is what really pisses me off, mate.
If you've entered their country, entered that country illegally, and you're getting everything given for free, but then you're still taking things from people, as in taking the dignity and whatever else. It's just beyond a fucking joke. Because, like you've just said as well, I was also like that as well. I thought I'm not talking about that on my channel because
you'd get to jail.
I don't want to be seen as that because I'm not far right either. I've got friends from all different nationalities. I'm actually out here in Thailand, in another country. I am a migrant over here, but I respect the values, respect the people, love the Thai people. These people that are going into the UK illegally, they're taking everything they can, and obviously they're not all the same, but they're going in there illegally.
Yeah, exactly. So you've committed a crime before you even came here.
Going down the country, in every town, in every city, kids are getting raped. So what is, like, you know what I mean? And then if you speak up about it or you retaliate, you're the one that gets put in prison because you put a post on or you're defending the kids or whatever. But people are afraid to talk about it, but it is actually happening. Even in the place where I'm from, it's just a little mining village.
Right.
Durham, just a little village. It's not like a big city.
Right.
It's rammed full of migrants. And last weekend, 2 migrants have grabbed a hold of a 15-year-old lass and done things to her. Like, fucking hell, what is going on?
Do you know what I hate? See the people who stand, because to me, far left and far right are two sides of the same coin. I'm no far right or far left or centre right. Depending on the political situation, I'll tell you what I think of that situation, which will show you where I'm at on the political spectrum. I'm not against immigration, right? But I'm against what's happening right now, right? And it's becoming a powder keg situation where, what you just said, they're getting all these free benefits. They're supposed to settle in the first safe country they reach. Tell me something. Why are they not immigrating to Muslim countries? Because if I was a Muslim and I had to flee violence in my country, I would be going to a Muslim country. Why the fuck would I want to come to Britain? Like Britain? Do you know what I mean? And then you're getting... I know somebody who works in the local council who knows a bit about all this, and she's telling me that they're getting the choice between an iPhone and an Android. They're getting the choice between this and that. And they're getting... There was a guy on... It was on... This guy I know, he was saying, migrants are not getting benefits, not. So I said I'd heard they were, but it's turned out that they are. How can somebody with no British national insurance or whatever be entitled to any benefits or anything? Somebody said to me, like, but your own benefits not. And I was like, but I'm a British citizen. I don't. I'm on benefits because I'm like, I've got PTSD and bad anxiety. Plus, who the fuck would employ somebody like me? If you read about me on paper, been in jail for 20 years, blah, 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 no skills. He can read Arabic and he can read fucking geopolitical stuff, and he's quite smart, but can't tie his shoes. Like, why the fuck would you employ somebody like that? You wouldn't be interested as an employer. I'm unsellable. My parole officer even said it. He's like, nobody will touch you. So I'm trying to make the best of a bad situation. But when people are saying things like, "Oh, you're far right because you don't want people here who aren't supposed to even be here in the first place," not even that. There's been petrol added onto the fire where they're getting put up in hotels, getting everything laid on for them, and now they're building all these. There's all these housing projects springing up everywhere that were supposed to be student accommodation. It's going to be interesting to see who's moving into these. I tell you something, because that something tells me it's no students. And you know the best way I find to defeat people like this is verbally, because what I've found is a lot of the people who are saying stuff about this, when I'm debating them, they don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about. You can tell, like they were brought up with this idealized. They weren't brought up in a housing scheme, and fucking dad went to jail, mum died of heroin, and all this stuff. You can tell they're like what's the cause of the day? What's the cause of today? What we doing today? Right? Know what to laugh at, right? They're all mad. They're all wannabe communists, right? Communism has never worked in any fucking country it's ever been deployed in. It's probably killed as many people as cancer's killed. But I find it funny, right? There was this guy I was arguing with him on Twitter, and seeing his profile, he put the date of birth. His date of birth was the date of the Russian Revolution, right? Now remember, this is a guy doing a PhD in a Scottish university, right? His date of birth is the Russian Revolution. He's got one of the Vladimir Lenin caps on, right? So to me, what the fuck is he doing? Basically, shouting about, or like he's basically advocating for communism, right? Which I find totally hilarious, because he's walking about with iPhones and MacBooks and fuck knows what, was made out of capitalism. They're supporting capitalism, even buying that. See all these far left nutters, mate. They're absolute idiots. That's what I'm saying. Half of these people who are even at these protests, they don't even know why they're there. They don't even know why. They're just there because they feel it's the right thing to do. Refugees, welcome here. Then what was it when the Ukraine war was on as well, right? When remember the C word, the virus, don't want to say it in your channel in case you get fucking right. So when all that was going on, right, you weren't allowed to go. You weren't allowed to go and see your mum dying in a care home, but you were allowed to take a Ukrainian refugee in. What made sense about that? What made sense there? And people still believe this. I'm like, fucking hell. Know what I mean? It's absolute.
Obviously, all of this interlinks with prison as well, because obviously people who speak about it are ending up in prison. All these migrants that are committing crimes are ending up in prison. What's going to happen when they're all in prison together? They're going to be forming gangs in prison. Well, they already are. They're joining the Muslim Brotherhood inside the prison system. It's getting bigger and bigger inside the prison system. That is worse. I've done a video, I think it was last week, about an Iranian migrant that raped a young girl, went to prison, and he was actually being a nuisance inside the prisons. He was a racist. He didn't like the white people, so he wasn't allowed to be padded up. He had to have a single pad because he was racist. So why come to he was a legal migrant, so why come to the country in the first place to then go and rape one of the young children and then get sent to prison, and you're a racist, shouting all sorts on the wing, can't get padded up with anybody from another ethnicity, has to be someone from the same. Imagine a white person doing that inside the prison.
That's exactly what I want to get to. It's almost like it's only racist if you're white. Like, I find that astounding, right? It's like, if I use this, if somebody called me a white bastard, right? Do you think they would go to jail for that? They wouldn't. They wouldn't. Yeah, I don't think they would. No. You know what I mean? But if I used a racial slur, then my door would be going in. Do you know what I mean? I think that the government's compromised in some form to an Islamist bloc of politicians, that they must have something big on whoever it is, right, at the top of the government that's control. And I know it sounds mental to some people, but this is that, like, I don't get this for reading newspapers. I think about things critically. Who the fuck is sabotaging their own country like this? When a guy... So let me ask you a question. So seeing the English prison system, are they actually referred to as the Muslim Brotherhood?
That's in prison there, like you wouldn't see like they just see like the Muslims, but obviously out here when they're referred to inside, they'll say like the Muslim Brotherhood, but they do refer to themselves as the Brotherhood, to be honest. So that is
Right.
correct.
So I don't know if they're actually. I don't know if they're actually meaning Muslim Brotherhood as in the parent of Hamas. So Hamas was created by the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. But I do know that Muslims refer to each other as brother and sister, if you get me. So I don't know what. Right. So I didn't. That's why I asked you that question. Do they actually believe? Are they actually peddling the Muslim Brotherhood narrative, or are they just calling themselves the Brotherhood like we're brothers? Because I know they, like, I talk to the Pakistani shopkeepers and that, and I call them brother and friend and all that all the time. Like, and I actually speak in their own accent because and people think that somebody says that's racist, and I was like, no, it's no. I says I taught a guy in Pakistan, a guy from Pakistan. I taught him English for 2 years in prison, right? And I used to speak to him in his own not his own language, but his own accent. And one of the teachers laughed to me that's messing up him learning English. And I says, no, it's no. I says he understands me better because he speaks in broken English. You know what I mean? So people
like
need to.
Like you just said, like when you're in prison, the Cockneys will say to the Geordie lads, "What's happening, Geordie? Why I man?" So
Aye, well, it's probably bigoted because we're the same race, but I get what you're saying. It's like somebody, if you call me a jock, right? You call me a jock, it's or a sweaty sock jock. Like who gives a fuck, mate? Or they call everybody jock down south. So, all right, jock. Know what I mean? I couldn't give a fuck, mate. It's no, like sort it out, mate. It's just we've got to a stage in the world where they're just weaponizing words to get people suppressed and shit. And it's imagine what it's like even in prison. I'll tell you a story. I remember this screw, right? Listen to this, man. I was fucking fuming, mate. He says, we're thinking about doing away with the word Christmas. Right away, I jumped on that, mate. Right, fucking right away, bro. And I was like, why is that? I knew what he was going to say. And he says, so we don't offend the Muslims. And I done that to him. So we're going to do away with the word Ramadan so we don't offend the Christians. They don't have an answer for they hit out with shit and don't even. I love just catching them out with these questions because they can't debate. The left can't debate. Know what I mean? Like doing away with the word Christmas. Like, fuck off. Are you serious? In a jail? Oh, don't get me started, Ricky, man.
The lefties will be watching this when I put it up and they'll be saying, look at them two baldy racist men.
I know. I got that. I got that. Overall skinhead neo-Nazis and fucking mate. I would mate, the only good Nazis is a dead one. That's what I think are Nazis, mate. Who that support Nazism or Nazi ideology, to me, is just as bad as someone supporting the far right Islamist ideology. To me, they're just different. They're the same monster, different face. Do you know? But like until I see the Aryan Brotherhood or the KKK driving through Christmas markets, raping kids in taxis, or shooting up schools, or blowing up concerts and all that, until I see that, then I will begin to speak out about that as well, because the Global Terrorism Index is almost always, for the past few years, been over 95% jihadi attacks. So show me where these white, there's a lot of bad people in all walks of life and all skin colours, all ethnicities and all that, but until I see a neo-Nazi blowing up a concert, shouting Allah Akbar and stabbing the shit out of somebody or whatever it is that they're all doing, like coming here on boats and all that, then I'll start speaking up about that. But until then, mate, not me. Just fry my nut, mate.
Absolutely mental. But on that note, Chris, I think we'll wrap this one up. But
Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
If anyone isn't on Tin Peel TV on YouTube, I'll put the link in the description. Head over to his channel. Some very interesting videos on. Different videos and crime stories.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Thanks for having me back on. It's been a while, mate.
It's been a pleasure, mate. It's always good having a good chat with you. But
brilliant, big man.
off tenant night here, so I'm nearly get myself settled down, get ready.
I was just going to say, you better go and hit the beach. I thought you were about to hit the beach here, and I'm thinking, fucking, it's in Thailand, it's probably like fucking 11 o'clock just now. When all the CD shit's happening. But no, proud of you for sticking through it and getting off your licence and going from strength to strength, mate. You're a credit to your family